I'm going to answer a question today that I get all the time. What makes a good Airbnb, or where should I start doing my Airbnb business? That is going to be right here on the Fearless Investor Podcast. Hey, welcome in everyone to the Fearless Investor Podcast. You're listening to me, Kyle Stanley, and I get questions all the time from people asking, hey, what is the best way to get started in Airbnb, or what things should I be looking for when I go check out a listing for Airbnb, or especially like, hey, what city should I start in Airbnb? And it's so funny, like all the places that people will throw out, I'm always like, probably not actually a good idea. I'll give you an example. Vegas, Nashville. People are always like, oh, I feel like Vegas, Nashville would be really good. Well, yeah, they would be really good, except for the fact that that economy is ran on their hotel industry. And so the fact that the city knows that, they've put tons of regulations on Airbnb. So unfortunately, it's things like that that you have to be aware of before you just get started in Airbnb. But what I don't want you to listen to in this is thinking, hey, it has to be a home run for me to get started in Airbnb. That is not the case. Guys, today we're going to talk about some strategies, 3 especially, that you can use and look for when you're evaluating an Airbnb. But the biggest thing I want you to know is, like, you just need to do it. You need to do the deal. And it's so funny to me how so many people are like scared to get into this. And this is one of the lowest risk businesses that you can get into, because at the end of the day, if you don't own the real estate, heck, even if you do own the real estate, let's just talk about worst case scenarios. You furnish the place, you hire an interior designer, you buy some amenities. Let's say you're $15,000 out of pocket to get started, and you're just breaking even and you realize that this is too much of a headache. Well, you can get out of the lease and you've only lost $15,000. Show me a business out there that can make you 6 figures or more. Some people are making 7 figures in this as well, that only cost you $15,000 to get started in. Not many. Okay. Then if you own the house, I mean, at the end of the day, you just turn it back into a regular rental and you're cash flowing anyway. So again, a small loss. But what I don't want you to think about is like it has to be a home run in order to get started in Airbnb. No, but if you just follow these things that I'm going to give you today, you'll be more likely to be successful when starting an Airbnb business. And for that reason, I hope this empowers you to want to get started, or to reach out to me and get started. And one of the ways that you can just easily reach out to me is just make sure to DM me on Instagram at Fearless Kyle. Ask me some questions about Airbnb. We can get on the phone for 15 minutes. I do free consultations. You can also book that if you just want to go straight to that at fearlesskyle.com/consultation. And you can get a time booked with me for 15 minutes for free. But let's talk about these 3 things today that I'm excited to share with you about Airbnb and what you should be looking for. The number one thing I always tell everyone, no matter what, you have to look at location first. And the biggest thing when looking at location is that city that you're looking at, does it have regulations? Now, number one thing to me, you should just start in your backyard. Unless you are in a place that has regulations, high regulations, it is likely that you will be successful in your own backyard. Obviously, there's exceptions. I'll show you in a little bit what other things we need to do before just jumping into our own backyard and making sure that it is actually a good place. But most of the time, unless I'm talking to you and you're in Timbuktu, most of the time you are going to have success in your own backyard. But you got to call the city. What are some regulations that you need to be looking out for? Well, the first thing is, do they have a minimum amount of stays or a minimum amount of days? If you're having a 30-day minimum stay there, minimum day stay, then think about it this way. You get 30 days booked, and then 29 days later, someone books for 30 days. Now you have 29 days that are vacant, and that's rough. That's not going to be conducive for a very successful business. So things like that. Another one is if there is high occupancy taxes, very, very high occupancy taxes. Are the guests paying for that? And if they are paying for that, is that affecting how much of them stay with you versus a hotel? Are there going to be owner occupancy regulations? For example, in Vegas and Nashville, most of those have to be owner occupied or the primary residence of the person. In other words, they live in it 10 months out of the year or something like that. And they rent it out 2 months out of the year to just help pay for their mortgage when they're gone and traveling. So it's things like that that you need to be really researching, all you have to do is call a city. Just ask, I don't even know what department that would be for most. It probably planning or building or anything like that. They can probably get you to the right place. The next one is in regards to what city. Does it have a steady flow of business and family related reasons of why they'd want to come there, not just attractions and vacation? So, for example, I was talking to a friend the other day about Louisville, Kentucky. That would be a great place for Airbnb because there's a lot of business coming in. There's a lot of people that are from Louisville that maybe have moved away and now they're coming back to town, and they now have a family of 4 and they can't fit in a mom and dad's place, so they got to get an Airbnb rather than a hotel. Those are some good reasons. The heavily vacation places, though, for example, let's just say I'm about to show you something from Newport Beach. I got a friend of mine that has a great portfolio in Newport Beach. It's a heavily vacationing area, so the high seasons versus the low seasons are drastic. However, the high seasons are just so stinking high that it's okay. He can be vacant for like 3 straight months and still just be killing it. So that would be a really good example of a heavily vacationed area. Like we talked about earlier, Vegas. However, Vegas has a lot of restrictions. So you need to kind of look at these things as, if it's going to have a high season, is the high season going to offset the low season? And there's a way in which you can research that. I'm going to get to that. That'll be our third way that we talk about here. So we're still on location, number one. Along with location is the in fact, well, actually, let's go back to location in terms of heavily vacation areas. I'm going to share my screen. If you're not listening on YouTube, if you're listening on the podcast, I'll do my best to paint a picture here for you. But what I'm showing right now on the YouTube channel as I share my screen is this map on Airbnb, and why location matters so much. So I'm in Newport Beach. That's where we're looking at right now. And basically, I'm putting my cursor over a few things. So if you look here, we're right on the water. $328 a night, $302 a night, $400 a night. There's another one I think I saw that was like 700 earlier. I can't seem to find it now, but all of these ones that are right on the water, like we're looking minimum like 209 is the absolute lowest. Then you go a couple blocks in and 120 a night, 177, 133, 174, 179, 139, just a couple blocks away from the water. And we're looking at double, sometimes triple the nightly rate. So these are things you need to be looking for. Is a place that is 2 blocks away from the water renting out, or is the mortgage going to be almost just as much as one that's right on the water? And so maybe we ought to go for the ones that are right on the water if the price that is expensed to us is going to be comparable to the ones that are just barely off the water. Or if the prices are a lot different, if the mortgages or the rents that you're going to pay are a lot different, is the amount that you're going to be able to charge going to offset those higher costs? So these are things that you need to be looking at when it comes to location, especially in these higher areas. And this is just part of like what we're talking about in terms of near like attractions, near highways, near maybe the airport. These are things that, especially for travelers or vacationers, are really important because they want to have easy access to get from place to place, to see those next attractions. So thinking about those types of things. And then, of course, safety of the neighborhood. I'm still sharing my screen here. I've got a place that we actually have a neighborhood here in Fresno that has one of our Airbnbs. And so what I want to show you is basically, like, let's just say, for example, it's this house right here. That's not our Airbnb. But if it was this house, like, how do we know that this is a nice, safe neighborhood? Well, I'm on Google Street Views right now. You can just go to Google Map, type in the address, and if you're local, this is like the first thing you do. And then as long as it passed your eye test on the desktop, then you go and actually drive to the neighborhood and see what it's like. But I can see from this neighborhood, like, these lawns are nicely kept. The houses look nice. This house is super nice. I mean, it looks like the neighbors would be great. Oh, wait, there's a highway here. I wonder what the highway looks like. Okay, so we're going up to it. It looks like it's green. It doesn't have like a bunch of trash left. I don't see any homeless people being filmed on the time this was photographed. And so like, these are the things that I'd be looking for. And so right now this passes my eye test. And so when I actually went to this neighborhood, I said, yes, this house actually looks like it's in a really safe neighborhood. I wouldn't have any worries about people, worrying about the safety of their car. Is their car going to get broken into? Are their kids going to be safe? Nothing like that. So it passed the test. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Come back and over here. Um, th- those are the big things for location. So number one, location. Once again, regulations. Is it a place that is going to be heavily driven by vacation, or is there going to be family and business reasons as well? Is there attractions? If there are, is your place next to highways, next to the attractions, next to the airport to help people get to those attractions or to those next reasons of which they might be there? I'll give you another good example of that. We are right here in Fresno, where a lot of people will go on either the 41 or the 99 highway to get from place to place, to the beach, to San Francisco, to LA. And so a lot of our places are within, a reasonable like 2 miles from each of those highways, because a lot of people like the fact that they don't have to go travel a long way to get to the 99 or get to the 41. And then, of course, safety. Safety to me, honestly, probably should have said that first. That's number one. If it's not safe, if it's near everything and it looks perfect, but they're going to feel unsafe, just nix it right away. I wouldn't even go there. All right. So that's number one, location. Number two, condition of the home. So is it updated or remodeled? And I want to kind of show you a couple listings here that would prove what I'm talking about. And they're right here in my backyard again in Fresno. But the idea that you have to have well, not that you have to, but the idea of what the value would bring if it's remodeled or updated or anything, I think is going to be shown right now so that you can understand why we like to make our places a little bit nicer. So let's go ahead and first of all start with a place that is not updated, and it's this one. So this guy has over 100 listings, but if we see this one, it's $56 a night. He still has a good star rating. He's almost 4.8 stars. I'd say anything over 4.7, I'm very comfortable with booking with. 2 bedroom, 2 bath. I'm sorry, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. But let's look at these pictures. I mean, it kind of looks like, first of all, it looks like grandma's furniture. Sorry if anyone likes grandma's furniture here, but I'm just saying for Airbnb, I'm not really looking for that. Um, it's okay. It's nothing fancy. You can tell these are cell phone pictures as well. And now let's look at the things that are important. Kitchen, not updated, very tiny, old floors, old appliances, old countertops. Let's see, going back, I know there's a picture, another shot of the kitchen. You can tell the countertops are very outdated. The outside, not attractive, ugly peach, orangish kind of color, lots of overgrown plants in the front. Let's see if we can get a shot of the bathroom anywhere. Yeah, bathroom, very outdated. Okay. So we see that, and we see that it is, what was it, $56 a night? I got to X out of this. There we go. Close. So $56 a night compared to a 2 bed, 1.5 bath, basically the same specs, $149 a night. This guy has 4.8 star rating at 491 reviews. And look at this. I mean, both these have enough reviews to be able to be charging a lot more, but the other guy is only charging $56. This guy's charging 100, what was it, 49 something dollars. Great furniture. You can tell the house is taken care of. They got a hammock in the back. How cool is that? They got the fire pit. They've got these cool little paw prints here. I mean, just a lot more love and care is put in this thing. They got a hot tub. We're going to look to the kitchen and the bathrooms here. You can tell the furniture is really nice. Good furniture, by the way, will hide outdated homes. So if we had gone back to this guy and just put not grandma's furniture in here, I bet you he's more at like $79 to $85 a night rather than 56. Good furniture makes a huge difference. But this guy has great furniture, and oh, look at that. He's got a desk. See, even this is what I'm talking about. Not an updated bathroom. However, it's got some character to it. It's got kind of like the I don't even know what the word is that you'd be looking for, but just the funky tile going on with a little bit of character. Um, and like the shower, again, not updated or anything. So even this, like I'm looking at it, and I'm honestly, as I'm saying this and as I'm showing you, like, yeah, we've got some things that are a little bit more updated, but to me, it's the furniture that really puts this place above and head and shoulders above the other one. And the amenities too. They got a barbecue, they got a hot tub, they got a hammock, they've got a detached garage over here. Yeah, and they got a pool. I think maybe a pool table. No, that's not. Those aren't pool sticks. Anyway, my point is that you can see the care that this guy puts into this one, and you can see how this one is just kind of thrown together with what they had already. And the fact that it's not very updated just really shows. Whereas in this one, it was like, okay, it might be a little bit outdated, but you just don't even notice it because the furniture is so good. So those are the things that I'd be looking at, as well as can I make a place that isn't as updated shine with some better furniture? So there you go. Is it functional? So this one was good with parking. I'm going to show you one of ours actually. So parking, when I mean functional, parking is a main big deal. Especially, so this house is one that we just got, and it's a really nice home. Our interior designer did a great job of designing the whole thing. As I kind of go through some of these pictures here, you can see that we got a huge dining table, great living room. This was one of those ones too that, like, it wasn't perfectly updated, but it was updated enough, and the furniture really makes it pop. So here's the thing, back at the front of the house. So I can paint a picture for those of you that are listening on the podcast. We've got a main house in the front, and we've got a studio in the back on the left-hand side. So on this left-hand side, there's a gate. On the right-hand side, there's also a gate. Both can be accessed from the outside. Both can be used as parking. However, if you are seeing this photo, you're seeing on the left side, there's a driveway. On the right side, this gate is in front of grass. So what do we do here? The first thought is, okay, when you park behind this gate on the left and you have this driveway, there's plenty of room for like 4 or 5 cars. However, especially in Fresno, we don't like telling people to park on the street or to have to park in the driveway. We want them to feel like their car is safe at night. So parking behind a gate or parking in a garage adds a lot of value. So the first thing that we're thinking is, okay, if they only park on this side, now you've got someone in the back is competing with someone in the front for parking. People are blocking each other's cars. They got to knock on each other's doors. It's affecting the experience. So what we did is we were able to get permission from the owner to actually make a concrete pathway here from this left side all the way to the right side. So now we have the studio, people park on the right hand side and they just go through the driveway. We just did this the other day, so that's why you aren't seeing it in the pictures. But just imagine a driveway on this, going from the left hand to the right hand side and then curving up to this right hand gate, where now we have 2 separate access points for parking so that people aren't competing for parking, and it's making life a lot easier. So that's what I mean by functionality of parking. Is it one story? Does it have little amount of steps? You get people who are bringing their grandma and grandpa. They don't want them to have to walk a lot. That makes a big difference. Airbnb has a very friendly accessibility for handicapped people as well. If you notice with this one, it's one story. It has 2 steps right at the front. So handicap won't be able to, but grandma and grandpa can. So that's not enough to make the decision, but 2 stories we do try to stay away from because of that reason and liability. But again, 2 stories still works well. It's just taking on a little bit more liability, and you're going to have more people probably say they don't want to stay there because it's 2 stories. And storage. Is there a place to be able to put all of the excess amenities and cleaning supplies and towels and sheets away, and ideally out of reach, maybe in a lock or maybe in storage outside where the guests cannot get their hands on it, overuse things, steal things? That's just the reality of it. People are going to take things if it's available to them. So being able to put a lock on another linen closet, that makes a big difference too. And then some bonus features of the home. Again, this whole second thing, we're talking about the condition of the home. Bonus features would be an additional unit in the back, extra set of cash flow. That's awesome. Large community spaces. If you notice in that last listing I showed you, all of our living spaces, living areas have futons so that we can fit more people. So a 3-bedroom suddenly allows us to be able to fit 8 to 10 people rather than just 6. A tub with jets, that's always great. A hot tub, anything like that where people can, a pool, anything like that where people can, bring in family and or friends and, kind of have that extra amenity. Again, some things like a pool can create more liability. So you just definitely have to know what you're wanting to take on in terms of risk. The views, if you have great views of the city, of the water, of anything, the views will add additional value. Large backyard for people to be able to relax and to just sit outside. That's a big thing as well. So again, these are bonus ones when I just mentioned all these things. These are not things that you have to have, but it just adds great value and allows you to kind of have a competitive edge sometimes, or some extra cash flow. Now, number 3, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the numbers. You have to know your numbers. You have to understand what your expenses are and what your possible income is as well. And so I'm just really going to point to 2 different resources here. Yes, you can use Airbnb.com and you can go on there and you can try your best to comp things out. And that's great. Like just for example, if I just go to Airbnb.com in Fresno, I can see all of the places. I did like a filter here. I'll just go ahead and clear the filter. But if I go entire places in Fresno, I can see all these places. If I have a place that, is going to be maybe right here, then I can say, oh, okay, this one it's got 100 reviews. It's $82 a night. So if I got a place that's the same size as this, as it's loading. So this one's 2 bedrooms. It's going for 82 a night. Yeah. Okay. So if I made mine like this, then I could essentially get 82 a night. That's fine. You're just not going to get the full picture. So the full picture would be using a site like AirDNA. If you're not familiar with AirDNA, you need to go ahead and go to my YouTube channel. And right there in the description, there's an AirDNA link that allows you to be able to get started with AirDNA. And it's the MLS of Airbnb. There's no guesswork. You can literally see everything that you can make with Airbnb right here on AirDNA by looking. You can monitor it down to just 3-bedroom places. You can look at shared rooms. You can look at Airbnb experiences. I'm actually curious. What is that experience? Sunshine Forest. I'm not going to go through that with you right now. I've never seen an Airbnb experience in Fresno. That's the first one. So, now I've got all my 3-bedroom places. I can see what the nightly rates are on these. I can see how many reviews they have. I can actually click right on them. I can see this guy's only got a 4.3 star rating, but he's getting, what was it? It was something like 118 a night. Let's go back to that. 108 a night. So if he's only getting 4.3 stars and he's got $108 a night, and I've got a similar place in that area, and I'm going to be able to provide a 4.9 star rating, then I'm going to get a lot more money, right? That's the idea. So, you're just basically having some fun here on AirDNA with doing some numbers and doing some research. And then from there, what you can do is you can download our profit calculator, which by the way is on our website, fearlesskyle.com. And let's see if I can go ahead and take you to that site. So let's type it in here, fearlesskyle.com. Right here on our website is right on the homepage, our Airbnb profit calculator. And you just put in your first name, your last name, and your email address, and it will be emailed to you. From there, I'm actually just going to go ahead and share my profit calculator with you. And I'm going to do the arbitrage one because I feel like most of you are probably not looking to own necessarily right now. You're looking to maybe get into arbitrage, get a lease going, and just sublease it on Airbnb with the permission of the landlord. If you want to learn more about that, all you got to do is DM me on Instagram. I can talk to you more about that. You can also look at our YouTube. I think I accidentally stopped recording for a second, so I'm going to pick it back up there. What I was saying is you can go to our YouTube channel and you can go ahead and just look at all of the resources that we have for arbitrage to learn more about that. But now I'm sharing my screen with my profit calculator. And I mean, here's the cool thing. I'll take a real life example of one of the places that we have. So one of the places that we have, it only costs us $4,500 to furnish because it is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. The amenities were somewhere around $1,500. We didn't have it's an apartment, so we don't have anything beyond the security deposit, which I believe was just 1 month's rent. So it was $1,050, and no repairs, no miscellaneous, because that's all taken care of by the apartment. If you're getting it financed, you can actually put in numbers here to say, like if I'm giving someone a 25% return or a 20% or a 10% return, I can just add that in here and it'll factor in what my monthly additional cost is. But over here, well, again, rent was $1,050. Utilities, don't have to worry about that because it's an apartment. Wi-Fi was $50. No landscape, again, apartment. No pest control, it's an apartment. Miscellaneous, I'm restocking things monthly, about $50. Gas and electric average has been $80. And my monthly cleaning fees, if I have this thing cleaned, let's call it 10 times at $40, it's $400. And I'm renting this thing out at about $72 a night. I'm getting it booked out at least 28 nights out of the month recently. So I'll even be conservative for you guys. I'll go 26. And then my cleaning fees that I'm charging to the guests. So up here, we did the estimated cleaning fees of what we are getting charged by our cleaners. Now down here, we're talking about what we're charging the guest. So if I'm getting charged $40 per cleaning, I'm going to charge the guest at least $55 per cleaning. We said 10 turnovers. And so, boom, it plugs in everything. We've got our total monthly cost, $1,630. We got our total monthly gross, $2,609. And that gives us a monthly net profit of $979.60. How awesome is that? And right down here, we're looking for a gross ROI. What that means is, or a net to gross ROI of 33% or more. This one's at 37%, meaning that if we are, for every dollar we're making, we're spending $3 to get there. Or sorry, of every $3 we make, we keep $1 is what I'm saying as the net. That's what that is. So 1 out of every $3 is going back into our pocket, a little bit more than that on this one. And I'm, for my entire year, making an additional 66% over what I invested. I'm getting all my money back, and I'm, for this one, going to be in this deal for years and years and years because I'm developing a great relationship with this landlord and this property management company. And for that reason, they're going to have me continue to be there. And I actually have a second unit in there now. They're always asking if I want more units, and it's a beautiful thing. Rental arbitrage is an awesome thing. So let's just go ahead and stop it there. I don't want to overcomplicate this thing. Location, condition of the home, and the numbers. Can you just sit down and do that? If you can, you're set up for success. If you can't, or you feel like you need help, again, it's very simple. Either set up a consultation with me, fearlesskyle.com/consultation, or you can Instagram DM me at fearlesskyle. And just download our resources. I would love to see you guys using our resources. Give us some feedback. I want to know how we can improve them for you so that we can make it easier. But at the end of the day, I want to hear about your successes as well. So if you're being successful, if you're finding ways to be able to get deals and you're finding that you're profitable, send over a little note on Instagram. Let us know how we've helped, and would love to be able to hear that. So thank you for allowing me to help you to conquer the world of investing today, especially from Airbnb. You've been listening to the Fearless Investor Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.